Welcome back to another edition of Talking Ball. And today we're looking at Liam McNeeley, the wing, 6'7" freshman from UConn. McNeeley is a guy who will be 19 years old, by the time the draft takes place, and 20 in October. So he'll pretty much be a 20-year-old rookie. He's a good to great shooter with really good size at 6'7", 6'8" for the wing position. He's a guy who, had to take on more responsibility this past season with UConn. They didn't have consistent point guard play, so he had to do a little bit more than is probably what he will ever be asked of at the NBA level. He had to do a little bit more on-ball creation, and it showed in his efficiency. He is a guy who can make plays within the offense. He averaged nearly 3 assists per game in conference play. He's a solid team defender. He's got a bit of a floater game as well when he gets downhill inside the free throw line. He has the ability to score from there and occasionally can finish with straight line drives. Sometimes he'll have a little bit of a spin move. There's not too much in terms of his ability to finish inside. I think it's so-so. He's a solid rebounder. Got to give him credit for that. Not a lot of guys are going out there playing the three spot. I would say I think Caravan was more their 4. He got 6 rebounds a game, which is pretty good for somebody at that position. So good positional rebounding from McNeeley. Now, the questions for me with McNeeley start with when the shot isn't falling. What does he give your team? What does he offer? And that question really came to prominence watching the NCAA tournament games, both games, even the second game when he finished with 22 points versus Florida. A lot of those points were late. They needed him to score early, and I didn't feel like he was impacting the game in other ways. He's a so-so finisher at the rim, and in traffic, especially because of his athleticism. I would say is about average, maybe below average for NBA standards. And because of that, I think he could be a bit of a one-dimensional player when he gets to the NBA. Just really, really relying on his three-point shooting, which was good. But as we look at the stats here, wasn't necessarily spectacular. 14 and a half points per game for McNeeley, really good as a freshman. The 6 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 38% from the field, 32% from 3. Does leave you a little bit of concern. When you look at the numbers, he was getting up over 5 attempts, which is pretty good. I think the thing that gives you promise if you're a McNeeley supporter is he shot 87% from the free throw line, which is really good on almost 5 attempts. So he was getting to the line, which is nice. He was aggressive, getting downhill, drawing free throws. So that gives you a little bit more promise. For me, based off of where McNeeley is being drafted, and please like this video. It really helps the channel. Subscribe as well. Would be really helpful. For me, though, for where McNeeley is being currently projected to be drafted, I couldn't take him there. I just don't think you're getting enough value. I don't think the upside's there. I don't think he does enough besides shooting to warrant the selection where I think he's going to go. I think it looks like he's going to be a late lottery guy, maybe just after that. And I have him more as like a back end of the first round guy. Comps, I think of guys like Kevin Herter and Corey Kispert. That's really who I think of. Bigger wings who are a bit one-dimensional with their shooting is what I would say for McNeeley. So let me know what you guys think about McNeeley in the comments below. And until next time, peace.